Okay, so here is an abutment case, actually an abutment and an abutment crown. You can see it's already split by the 4-4. It's on tooth number 4. And the concern the dentist was having was he was having trouble with the minimal thickness of the actual abutment itself. So if we bring up the abutment, you can actually see on the buccal side here, there's a minimal thickness issue. Okay, so what this is the minimal thickness of the zirconia on the tie base. So we can visualize this by turning off the restoration, turning on the titanium base, and the minimal thickness. So we like to see about a 1/2 millimeter, that's default, a 1/2 millimeter radial minimal thickness on the titanium base. This looks like it's set to about 1 millimeter or 1,000 microns. You can also, for the occlusal height, you can look at this by the parameters, which is 500 radial and 1,000 occlusal. Okay, so the question is, how do we go about fixing this? Okay, the first thing that I always will do is take a look at the emergence profile. Okay, so if I look really closely, there's a couple things I don't like particularly. Overall the design's excellent, very good job. A few concavities there on the emergence profile. The best way, you can see one right there, the best way to tell this is to actually unsplit the tooth. You can see where the concavities are down there. So the emergence profile isn't very strong. If I bring up the split line, you'll see it's actually splitting in an area of concavity, which we don't necessarily want. So when we see this split, the question here is, how are we going to go about fixing this? I mean, can we just take this scale and go scale radial and try to scale it all the way out? See, that's obviously not going to work. So what we really need to look at is we need to look at emergence profile. So let's go ahead and unsplit this and take a look at the design. So here's the design. It was actually done in BioCopy. So we can click up or open our BioCopy and see that even though that cusp might look a little bit out to the buccal, that's where the BioCopy was, that's where we're going to keep it. But let's more importantly look at the emergence profile. Okay, we can actually throw up our tissue and see that we have room to actually bring out the emergence here on the facial. So the first thing that we'll do here is I'm going to go ahead and trim, turn off the gingiva, and I do this on every single case. It's a preference that I have after doing many of these, is I don't like to have any concavities there to start with. So the way that I get rid of these, I do this on every case. Take my circular shape tool and I just start shaping these out. Don't worry about being exact at this point. I just don't want any concavities. Okay, and after I do that, we'll take our smooth tool and we'll just start smoothing this in, creating a nice fluid emergence profile from that titanium base up to where that clinical crown is going to be. Okay, so after doing that step, this is kind of where it gets me. You can see I've got a nice continuous emergence profile right through there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and bring the model back up and bring the tissue. And you're going to see we actually have some room right here. We have some room to make some stronger emergence right here in the buccal. So let's go ahead and take that circular shape and let's go ahead and shape that down. Just going to look at the adjacent teeth. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and turn off that upper model. Let's look underneath. We've got much nicer emergence profile here. We can smooth it up. Now let's go ahead and try to split from there. Okay, when I split there, I've definitely still got the same issue, but what you'll notice is, let's first go ahead and use the scale tool. Let's get that height down, and then let's throw up the tissue. You'll see that my margin is actually quite a bit subgingival, way more than I need for that emergence profile that I just created. So simply by just taking off scale occlusal hole and scaling this up a little bit, I'm still subgingival. I still have got that nice thick margin for that good emergence profile, but I don't have the minimal thickness issue. So it's definitely one way to go about taking care of a difficult emergence profile. You can see that I still have a nice emergence profile there. If I put my tissue up, I'm still subgingival, and yet I created a nicer profile for the tissue. So that's probably the easiest way to go ahead and take care of an issue like that.